Well, today on the show, we're going to be talking to people...
Excuse Elmo. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Dr. Sanjay, Miss Erica. Can Elmo actually go have breakfast while you introduce the show, please?
Of course you can, Elmo.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Elmo helps his daddy set up the table before we eat. Coming, Daddy. Elmo will be back soon. See you later.
Enjoy your breakfast, Elmo.
So while Elmo eats his breakfast, we should get started. This is the ABCs of COVID-19, a CNN and Sesame Street special.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Hill, along with my friends Dr. Sanjay Gupta and Big Bird. And today, we're going to discuss COVID-19 and its effect on children and families.
Erica, Dr. Sanjay, I have a question.
Well, that's great, Big Bird, because that's exactly why we're here, why we're having this family town hall about COVID-19.
Oh, that's my question. That's it.
What is?
Well, you said, COVID-19. Well, what is COVID-19? Is it just a bunch of letters and numbers?
That's such a great question, Big Bird. Those letters and numbers reference something that's making people sick. You know, you may have also heard it called the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah. Is the coronavirus why we have to stay at home?
Yep, that's right, Big Bird. COVID-19 has become a pandemic, and that means it's spread to large numbers of people all over the world. But there are scientists and doctors and nurses around the world who are working really hard to help people and protect us as well.
And there are also things that all of us, adults, children, monsters, and big birds, things we can all do to protect ourselves, to protect others, and to help each other. And that's why we're having this town hall, to answer questions and also, Big Bird, to reassure everyone.
Oh, because we're all in this together.
That's right, Big Bird, we are. This next question is one that we've received from children all across the country, and it's a question I'm sure Big Bird and all his friends on Sesame Street want to know the answer to as well.
When will this be over? We want to see our friends. Why do we have to stay away from people but not our family? When will all of us go back to school? When can I go to the park again?
I know this is frustrating. I'm sorry. But let's talk about it with one of our friends who knows a lot about this as well, Dr. Lena Wen. She is the former Baltimore City Health Commissioner, an emergency room physician, and a new mom as well. Congratulations on your baby, Dr. Wen. I get this question all the time, Lena. I'm sure you do as well. And what I typically tell people is that we don't know when it's going to be over. Wish we did, but that's the honest answer. But it is going to be over. It's not going to last forever. And one of the things I think is really important for everybody, kids and adults, is to document this time, remember this time in some way. I tell my own kids, I have 3 girls myself, I tell them to write down something good every day. Practice a little gratitude. It seems to make the days go by a little bit faster. How about you, Lena?
Yeah, so it's good to be with you, Sanjay and Erica, and all of our friends from Sesame Street. I have 2 kids. I have a baby, Sanjay, as you mentioned, who's just 3 weeks old. I also have a 2.5-year-old who is itching to play with his friends and go back to preschool. And what I tell him and what I will tell for everyone is that this is a virus that spreads from one person to another. And so when we keep our distance from other people, we are helping each other to stay safe. We are preventing ourselves from getting the virus, but in preventing ourselves from getting the virus, we're also helping to keep everyone around us healthy too.
7-year-old Lucy from Alexandria, Virginia, and 9-year-old Julian in Ukraine. Take a listen.
Will it be okay to go swimming in swimming pools this summer?
Can COVID-19 spread through water? Can I get it from a pool or a ocean if I swim in it?
What a great question. Dr. Wen, can we?
So no, you cannot. So this new virus, this new coronavirus that causes COVID-19, it's not spread through water. So you're not going to get it from swimming in the pool or from swimming in the ocean. The problem, though, is if there are other people around you at the pool or other people very close to you in the ocean, you could get the new coronavirus from them. And so for now, it's best to not go to a public swimming pool where there are a lot of people who could potentially spread the virus. virus. But if you have a pool in your backyard or something like that, that you can play there with your family members in your house, you can definitely safely use that pool.
Hey, everybody, look. Look, it's Abby Cadabby. Hey, Abby.
Oh, my friend has another question. Go ahead.
What does the coronavirus look like?
Oh, good question, James. I'm glad you asked that. What does the coronavirus look like? Well, I raided my kid's toy closet to try and show you this. So here's what the coronavirus might look like, a sort of blob. But that's the virus, and now the word corona actually means crown. So there's the crown that goes on top of it. There, James, is a little bit of what the coronavirus looks like. You can't see it. It's invisible. It's so tiny, really. But if you look under a microscope, it might look something like this. And these are the little proteins on top of the crown. Hope that helps, James.
And now we know where it gets its name.
That's right.
Our next question comes to us from twins, 6-year-old twins, Bryce and Brody from Sands Point, New York.
How does soap kill the coronavirus? Why won't soap kill the coronavirus in your body if you swallow it?
This is great. We know how important it is to wash your hands well with soap and water, but obviously, Dr. Wen, we shouldn't drink it or swallow it.
That's exactly right, Erica, and I hope that the twins and everyone who's watching will help us to spread that message. Do not drink soap or detergent or bleach or anything that you and your parents use to clean your house. Don't do that. I'm an ER doctor, and in the ER, I've seen kids come in who get very sick from drinking these things. These are very dangerous things to drink, so please do not drink them or eat soap or anything like that. You should use soap, though, on your hands and wash your hands very well with soap and water. And that's because the coronavirus, as Dr. Gupta was saying, is this very small virus. Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense.
And by washing it, yeah.
Thank you, Lena. Makes perfect sense. And I think Big Bird's back. And I think we have another question.
My friend Rosita, who lives on Sesame Street, has a question. Go ahead, Rosita.
Hola, everyone. Well, I'm at home with my mommy, papi, and my abuela, my grandmother. And I've been feeling frustrated because I see families and friends playing and going outside. But my papi says we have to stay inside and take special care to keep everyone in my family healthy. Why do some people get to go outside and I can't? It's not fair.
I hear that a lot. It's not fair. This is tough. This is a hard time right now for everybody. One thing to keep in mind is that there are people who are going around outside because they're helping keep the country running. They're helping all of us. They're transporting food, they're transporting packages, they're taking care of people in hospitals, all that sort of stuff. But the reason you stay inside is because you don't want to get the virus, even if you don't know it, and accidentally bring it back to your house and to your abuela and possibly get somebody sick. So Rosita, when we say that we're doing this to keep ourselves healthy, we're actually all in it together, just like Dr. Wen mentioned. Keep yourself healthy, and if you stay home, you'll keep other people healthy as well. So I know it's tough, though. Dr. Wen, I'm sure you have these conversations as well with people.
That's right, and it is really hard, but we are doing this for each other. So the best thing that you can do, 3 things: wash your hands really well, and even more than you usually do. The second thing is to, if you're going to be sneezing or coughing, sneeze and cough into your sleeve so that you don't spread the germs to other people. And then the third and most important thing, as Sanjay was saying, is keep your distance and keep yourself safe, and that way you're keeping those that you love, your family members, your friends, and everyone around you healthy and safe too.
It is that hard part, right? And I know we're all seeing it in our own houses with our own kids and our own families and neighbors as well. But as you all point out, it's so important because the healthier we keep ourselves now, the sooner we can be reunited. Because as Sanjay said, this will all come to an end, as we know. Our next question comes to us from Soha in Fremont, California.
How do you think coronavirus started? I know it started in China, but how do you think it started to get people sick?
Such a great question, Dr. Lena. How did it start to get people sick?
Well, this is a new virus. This is a virus that's been around only for about 4 or 5 months, and so we're still finding out a lot about it. Now, what we know about this new coronavirus is that it's part of a family of viruses called coronavirus. And there are other viruses in this family that we know very well that cause the common cold that probably all of us have gotten at some point in our lives. But scientists and doctors, the best scientists and doctors around the world, are finding out a lot more about this virus. And what we know is that it causes symptoms very similar to the cold and the flu, but we're still learning more about how it all got started in the first place.
And I thought I might just take that opportunity to show you again that if this is the virus, Dr. Wen and Erica were just talking about this, but this is the corona, which means crown. That's where it gets its name. That's not what it really looks like, but it's pretty good. And keep in mind, again, even though you can't see this because it's so small, it's out there. And that's why you wash your hands, you do all those things that we're talking about. But this is something that'll give you a little bit of idea when you're trying to picture what this is, the corona and the virus there. Let's check in with Grover. Grover, how you doing? You're back? What are you up to up there?
Hello there. My pal Sam from Chappaqua, New York has a question that is out of this world. Sam would like to know if the coronavirus can exist in outer space. Whoa, 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 whoa!
I did not expect that question. Lena, I don't know about you, but the kids ask the best questions sometimes. You know, the questions that adults maybe want to ask, but are maybe a little embarrassed to ask. Here's the good news. I guess the virus really can't exist in outer space. And there's a reason for that. The virus has to have a home. The coronavirus has to have a home. So it usually lives in animals or lives in humans, and we can't live in outer space unless we have special machines and stuff like that. So just by itself, I think I'm right on this, Dr. Wen, but I don't think the virus can live up there.
I mean, I guess if there's an astronaut who has the virus and can bring it to outer space, maybe it can exist in outer space. But you're right, Sanjay, and you're also right that I didn't think about this question until Sam and Grover asked it.
The kids do ask the best questions, and Grover helps too. We have time for one more question right now. This one is from another set of twins, Milo and Levi. They sent it in from Brooklyn, New York.
Why is the virus taking a long time to go away? Why is the virus taking a long time to go away?
Why is the virus taking a long time to go away? Another important question that adults have too, Sanjay.
Right. No question. I mean, you know, the thing about this virus is that it came from animals to humans, and it may now be here for a while. What's going to happen is we're going to get better as human beings at dealing with it, but the virus itself may stay for a while. There's viruses that have come, you know, long time ago and are still with us, but we develop new medicines, vaccines, and we learn how to deal with the virus. What do you think, Dr. Lena?
Yeah, I mean, the best scientists and doctors in the world are working on getting a vaccine to prevent us from getting the virus and to treat this virus too. But we have to remember there are things that we can do to keep the virus away and to fight it together. And I think that's really important because we can all do something today, and that's to prevent the spread of the virus from one person to another so that we're keeping everybody safe.
That's right. That's how it starts to slowly fizzle down. Dr. Lena, stay right there. We're going to need more help from you in just a moment.
Okay, we have a lot more questions to get to.
You know, a lot of you have seen your parents probably wearing masks lately, so I'm going to help you understand why. Plus, Elmo and I are going to show you how to make your own mask at home.
Oh, I hope you brought enough fabric to cover this beak.
We'll make sure there are plenty of extra bandanas, Big Bird. But before we do all that, Oscar the Grouch wants to tell everyone about the perks of social distancing.
Oscar the Grouch here to tell you To stay home. I don't want to see your smiling face. I don't want to smell your pretty perfume. I don't want to be anywhere near you. Hey, this social distancing thing is kind of a grouch's dream. Anyway, for everyone's sake, just stay home, will ya? Oh, yeah. And while you're at it, have a rotten day.
Welcome back to the ABCs of COVID-19, a CNN and Sesame Street Town Hall for children and families. I'm Erica Hill, and I'm here with my friend, Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Oh, and look at that. Joining us again, fresh from eating his breakfast, Elmo.
Hello, Dr. Sanjay.
Hello, Elmo. How was breakfast?
Oh, it was wonderful. Elmo had cereal with bananas. Oh, and then Elmo brushed his teeth. It's part of Elmo's morning routine.
Sounds like a very healthy routine. That's great. You know, Elmo, it's important to have a daily routine, especially in challenging times like these.
Yeah. Oh, after this, Elmo has playtime with his daddy. Oh, we're building a pillow fort in the living room. Yeah. Oh, but first, Elmo has a question for Dr. Sanjay.
Sure.
Elmo's seen lots of people wearing masks outside, but it's not Halloween. So why are people wearing costumes?
Well, those aren't costumes, Elmo. You know, just like doctors wear masks in hospitals when they take care of people, you're going to see people now wearing masks outside as well. And the reason they're wearing masks like this is to protect people in public from their germs and things like that. They don't want to spread your germs, and these masks can help with that.
Oh, so the masks help us.
Yes, the masks are a way to prevent you from spreading germs, even as you just breathe.
Oh, so does that mean that Elmo should wear a mask when he's outside around other people?
Well, Elmo, how old are you?
Oh, Elmo's 3.5.
Well, then, yes, Elmo, you should wear a mask. Children under 2 years old do not need to wear a mask, but children older than 2 years old should wear a mask when they're out in public and they're around people. You might wear a mask that looks something like this. This is one that my daughter actually made for me. What do you think?
Oh, that's wonderful. She did a great job. Oh, Elmo wants to make a mask, too.
You can, Elmo.
Oh, but Elmo can't make a mask, Dr. Sanjay. Elmo doesn't know how to sew. Elmo's only 3.5, remember?
Well, Elmo, you don't need to sew to make a mask. You can easily make one. You can even decorate your own mask with items that you have in your house. In fact, you want to see one that I made at home? This is one that I just made at home.
Oh, that's wonderful. Orange. Nice choice.
You want me to show you the secret? You want to see how I made this mask?
Yes.
Take a bandana like this and you fold it. Make sure you fold it properly. So fold the bandana. Here's a pro tip. Don't use small hair bands like this. Find big hair bands. Put one on either end over here. Do this. And then this is going to be a key move right here. Put it like this, but then fold one end and really tuck it inside the other. Get in there like this. This is not going to be a fashion statement, but there you go. And there's my bandana. Does the job. Keeps me from spreading the virus.
Wow! Oh, Elmo's gonna decorate his mask with smiley faces.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, Elmo. You know what? You can also make a mask for your lovey or your teddy bear.
Really? Oh, okay. Elmo's gonna make one for his lovey, baby David. Oh, thank you for answering Elmo's question, Dr. Sanjay. Oh, you know what? Elmo's friend Edward from Florida also has a question about masks. Can you answer it, please?
I'd love to, Elmo.
Now that I have a homemade mask, can I go to the store with Mom?
Wow, Edward's almost as cute as you, Elmo. It's important to remember to stay home as much as possible, Edward. That's the first thing. But if you do have to go out in public, you can wear a mask, and you should also practice something known as social distancing.
Social what?
Social distancing. That means, you know, if you're wearing a mask, you should also stay at least 6 feet away from people as much as possible, which is about the length of this, a pool noodle.
A pool noodle? Oh, is Dr. Sanjay gonna go swimming today?
Oh, I wish, Elmo. I wish. No, unfortunately not. But the length of the pool noodle is sort of the safe distance you have to stay away from people. So this is a good way to remember how to stay healthy.
Oh, right. Boy, Elmo just remembered Elmo can't go to the swimming pool right now, and, Elmo can't give his friends a hug when he sees them either, can he?
No, not right now, Elmo. I know that's hard, but there's other ways that we can still be with our friends through video chatting like you and I are doing right now, or maybe you could give someone a virtual or an air high five, like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how about a virtual hug? Hug.
Everybody wants a hug. Now, another way we can stay healthy is by washing your hands, Elmo. You know that. Do you know the song Happy Birthday?
Oh, of course Elmo knows Happy Birthday.
Well, Elmo, I have a video of me washing my hands and singing Happy Birthday to you, Elmo.
Oh, to Elmo? Doctor, it's not Elmo's birthday today.
Well, let's pretend it's your birthday.
Oh, okay. Yay, it's Elmo's pretend birthday.
So, Elmo, let's take a look at this video of how to properly wash our hands. In order to show you how to best wash your hands, I put a little glitter on my hands. That's dirt. Sometimes that would be challenging to get off. That's why you got to make sure you do this right. So a little bit of soap, and I start to really rub it in here. And what I do is I sing Happy Birthday twice to make sure I've done it long enough, all right? So happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Elmo. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Elmo. Happy birthday to you. And you get it all off. Elmo, you can do this as well. You're all done. Make sure you don't contaminate yourself, and all the glitter is gone.
Wow! Elmo loved that video. Dr. Sanja, you have a nice voice.
Why, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you know what? Elmo has another song he sings while washing his hands. Do you want to hear it?
Of course, yes.
Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash your hands.
I'm going to sing that one next time, Elmo. You know, the important thing to remember, Elmo, is that we may need to be physically distant right now, but we can all still be socially connected.
Yeah, true. Oh, thank you for answering Elmo's questions, Dr. Sanjay. Elmo feels a lot better.
Oh, you're welcome, Elmo. Remember, you can always ask a parent or an adult when you have questions as well. And it looks like Erica has some more viewer questions.
That's right, Sanjay, we do. And good thing we have both you and Dr. Lena back with us to help answer some of these questions. Our next one comes from 10-year-old Joe in Connecticut.
Will I be able to play baseball this summer if things get better?
Oh, Joe, I think a lot of people have that question. Dr. Lena, can we play baseball?
Well, I'm not sure, Joe, if you'll be able to play baseball with your team or your friends this summer. I hope so, but we just don't know yet. And in the meantime, there are things that you can do to keep fit. So you can practice catch in the yard if you have brothers or sisters, or ask one of your parents to play with you. Maybe you can do some running in a park or a field nearby. So keep up your physical fitness, and hopefully you'll be able to get back on the baseball field with all your friends soon.
Sort of like keeping up the spring training, right? And then we're ready to go. We have another question from a 10-year-old. This is 10-year-old Sophia from Cumming, Georgia, who has a great question about what to do when school reopens.
When I'm back at school, is it better to wash my hands with soap and water or to use hand sanitizer?
The age-old question, Sanjay.
Yeah, well, you can do either, but both will work. But you know what? Soap and water can actually be better. And I want to explain this for a second, if you'll let me. Imagine that your hands are actually this greasy pan. You can see the grease in there. When you look at the virus, the coronavirus, it actually has a layer of fat or grease all around it. So now if you think of your hands that way, which would you rather wash this greasy hand with? A hand sanitizer, something like this, or just plain soap? Well, the soap will actually make the grease and the fat sort of start to fall apart. That's how you can actually start to deactivate the virus and actually get your hands or whatever else as clean as possible. So soap and water, preferable, but hand sanitizer will do as well.
That's such a great explanation. I love that.
There you go. We have another question from 6-year-old Sophia, whose dad, Sergeant Brian Bartley, is a New York City police officer.
How are first responders like my daddy stay safe at this time?
Wow, that's really heartwarming. I mean, and she's asking about her daddy, who is a first responder, and wanting to know how we're going to keep people like her dad safe. And we've gotten similar questions from others as well, including Elijah and Caleb from Virginia. They say that our dad is a Navy nurse and he's serving on the USNS Comfort. That's a big ship, helping take care of people in New York City. He's going to be coming home next week. It's been more than a month since we've seen him. Is it safe for us to hug him? Dr. Lena, I mean, these are real questions. These are real things that kids are asking about right now. How do you answer questions like that?
Well, I mean, first I want to say that your dads and so many parents out there are everyday heroes. They're the ones who are keeping all of us safe. And there are things that we can do to help them also be safe, because they're the ones in the communities that are helping patients, helping the community, and we ourselves, we can do our part. The more that we can help stop the virus from spreading to other people, the more we're making their jobs actually easier, the more we're helping them help others. So, and I think that this is also a time for us to show our love and support for our parents. So we should tell them every night that we love them. We should continue to be kind and compassionate to them and to everyone else around us too. But Sanjay, what do you think?
I think I speak for all of us when we say thank you to all the people, the frontline workers who are keeping our country running right now. These are really tough times for everybody, but there are people out there who are risking themselves a little bit to keep us all safe and make sure we have our food and all of our other things. So thank you very much. That's what I say.
We can never say thank you enough to them. Dr. Lena, thank you for answering so many questions from all of our friends. Always great to see you, and we really appreciate it. We know this is kind of a strange time for everyone, and it can lead to a lot of big feelings.
Whether you're a little kid or a big bird like me.
And it's completely normal as well. Coming up, we're going to answer questions about managing your feelings. But before that, the Count wants to thank all the brave people that have been helping us get through this.
Greetings! Count Von Count here with a message from all my Sesame Street friends. We want to say thank you to everyone out there who is helping those in need. The doctors, nurses, firefighters, police officers, and emergency workers. And do not forget the grocery store workers, trash collectors, and countless others. We are so lucky to count on you. This is one thankful count. Ah, ah, ah!
Welcome back to the ABCs of COVID-19, a CNN and Sesame Street Town Hall for kids and parents.
Big Bird, this next question is for you.
That's for me.
Yeah, 3-year-old Connor from Atlanta, Georgia, has this question.
Hey, Big Bird, what are you doing during this stay-at-home order?
Hi, Connor. Thank you for your question. I've been reading and drawing pictures in my nest. And, I drew a picture of my friend Oscar the Grouch, and I'm going to give it to him when it's okay to have a play date. And, I've also had video play dates with my friend Snuffy. It's kind of hard to see a whole Snuffleupagus at a small video chat screen, though. And, let's see, what else? I've been doing virtual exercises with Grover. Here's one that we do. It's called the flap. It's just me flapping my wing, really. And it's been a lot of fun, but, sometimes it is hard. And I do feel sad when I remember that I can't go to school and play with my friends. But, you know, my friends have been helping me feel better. Like Dr. Rosemary Trulio. She helps my friends and I learn and get ready for school. Oh, hi, Dr. Rosemary.
That's right. Big Bird's pal, Dr. Rosemary, is here along with another friend who's with us, Dr. Wajiko Jiragi from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And it's so great to have both of you with us to help answer some more questions. Dr. Rosemary, we know this is a really tough time for a lot of kids and also for a lot of grown-ups, but it can also be a special time.
That's right. But let's first talk about how these are challenging times for children and families. And Sesame Street has been we have a long history with resources that have helped children around the world cope with difficult times. We have these resources on our website, but we're also working in communities directly with families through our various partnerships. But these are also special times because we're spending a lot more time together as a family. So we do have to balance the positives with also the challenging times.
And you know, Dr. Jiragi, I think part of the challenge I have with my own kids, and I'm sure a lot of parents, you want to reassure your kids that everything is going to be okay, that this isn't going to last forever. But at the same time, the kids are starting to get a little impatient about this, right? How do you balance that?
Yeah, well, Dr. Gupta, you're exactly right. I think, as Dr. Trulio just said, and has been said all morning, these are really complicated times, and it's hard to reassure ourselves that everything is going to be okay. But what we must remember in talking to children, particularly very little children, is to give them a sense of hope and reassurance by having them plan for the future.
Oh, there we go. I guess we're getting more questions in. We want to hear more of your questions. Here's 5-year-old Quinn from Bettendorf, Iowa.
Why is everybody sick? And why can I see Grandma and Grandpa?
I don't know about you, Dr. Jiragi, but I sort of hear two things in Quinn's question. So I'm sure kids are hearing, grown-ups, they're hearing all of us talk a lot, and then maybe they're hearing some concern about an illness. But they're also, just like a lot of the adults, missing the important people in their lives, the grandparents, the family gatherings, the parties. How do kids process this? And how different is it from what their parents are doing?
Yeah, well, Erica, it's really different. I mean, kids aren't doing their normal routines. They aren't going to school, and they aren't seeing the people that they love. So it's clear that it's important that the adults reassure them again and are honest with them about why we're staying inside. And as I heard in the earlier segment from Dr. Lena and Dr. Gupta, for little Quinn, we're staying inside so that everyone isn't sick. I think that's one of the important factors to talk about with little ones.
Yeah, we're all in this together, so do it for yourself, but also do it for the people that you love. Our friend from Sesame Street is back, Abby Cadabby. She also has some ideas about how to handle your feelings.
Hi, Erica. Hi, everybody. I know we're all having a lot of big feelings right now. We may be sad because we can't go to school or play with our friends on the playground. Or maybe we're scared because we're afraid that someone we love or in our family might get sick. It's okay to have those big feelings. I get them, my mommy, my daddy, my stepdaddy, and even my brother Rudy get them too. Well, my mommy taught me that when I have big feelings, I can give myself a hug and make myself feel better. Oh, I'll show you. You just put your arms around yourself, and I give myself a nice little squeeze, and I feel all warm and cozy and comforted. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to share this big hug with all of you.
Aw, Abby. Thank you, Abby. And it's such a great idea to give yourself that hug and to find that way to make yourself feel better. And we love that Abby shared that with us. Even a lot of grown-ups, I know, are having big feelings, as we say. There are some really big changes happening for a lot of families. They may be worried about a family member who's sick. Some grown-ups may not be working at the moment, and so they're concerned about maybe having enough food for their family. And that really impacts everyone in the house, Dr. Rosemary.
It does, and it's okay to have these big feelings, and we need to validate these big feelings and to label them. But more importantly, we need to have strategies for how to manage these feelings and to help us all cope. So Abby talked about the importance of a self-hug. Another strategy is, and I did this last night, I made a glitter jar. And so this glitter jar is a wonderful mindfulness exercise, because as we're looking at the glitter, it represents all of the emotions swirling around in our minds and in our bodies. And as we focus on the glitter and as it settles down, we're doing belly breathing. And then when we can see clearly through the jar, we can then talk about how we're feeling, and then we can move onto another activity.
I have to say as well, you know, I don't know how you feel, Doctor, but I find that my kids are slowing down a little bit more. Life can be pretty stressful when everyone's not at home sometimes as well. So I tell them to slow down, to write down their feelings as well, you know, whether they feel angry or scared. It's not always clear exactly how they're feeling, but if they write it down and express themselves that way. And plus, you know, this is a really, it's a time that's tough, but the time that we want to remember as well, and be able to share some of these stories with our own, with their own kids and their own grandkids one day also. Our friend Alan from Sesame Street also has a message about this.
Hi everyone, it's Alan from Sesame Street. I hope you are all staying healthy at home with your family and your loved ones. During these difficult times, it is important for all of us to find ways to stay connected and be kind to one another. When bad things like this happen, people often wonder who is responsible, and sometimes they blame or bully other people and treat them unkindly. It's not helpful to blame or bully others. It's important to remember that what we are experiencing is not anyone's fault. We are all in this together, and we can all work together to make things better. Everyone out there, I need your help in showing support and kindness to each other. It doesn't matter what you look like, the color of your skin, the language that you speak, or if you are a person, a monster, a big bird, or a snuffleupagus, all of us need to help and care for each other. Cheer for your essential workers. Check in on your elderly neighbors and spread kindness to everyone you can. And we can spread kindness right now by sharing in a great big virtual hug. Come on, bring it in. All right. Bye-bye.
I'm definitely adopting the virtual hug after this. That's
that
going to be
makes
a
two
new
of us.
thing. Dr. Jiragi, when you hear this and you think about various strategies that are real for kids, things that they can do during times like this, how do you approach those conversations?
Well, so the first thing for parents is that there are a lot of websites that have a lot of information to help. Sesame Street is one of them. And then the Child Psychiatry Academy, the American Association of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists, also has a whole lot of resources. That's aacap.org. And then 0 to 3 has another whole host of resources. That's 0 to 3, one word.org. But for kids, it's really important, as was just stated, to let them feel their emotions and to reassure them that what they're feeling is okay. We're all stressed and tired and anxious and scared, and all of that is okay, and they can work through some of those things by playing or drawing.
Dr. Rosemary, Dr. Jiragi, you are so helpful. We'd like you to come back later in the show, if you can, to answer some more questions.
Sure, absolutely.
Dr. Rosemary mentioned mindfulness just a few moments ago. Well, our buddy Grover has some tips from a friend on staying calm and mindful.
Hello, everybody! It is I, your cute and mindful monster, Grover, here to teach you all about mindfulness. Yes, mindfulness is when you wear a big hat on top of your head like I am doing, and your mind fills it all up. Yes, that is mindfulness. What's that, Sanjay? Oh, that is not mindfulness. Right, of course. Luckily, like any good expert, I have a backup plan. Expert Grover, will have my expert assistant, Rosita, show you mindfulness. Rosita?
Hola! Today, I wanted to go outside and play with Elmo at the park. But my mommy and my papi said that I can't right now. It made me feel really, really frustrated. Yeah. Do you ever feel frustrated? Or sad or nervous? Yeah? Well, my mommy showed me a way to calm me down whenever I have big feelings or little feelings. It's called belly breathing. Hey, I can show you how to belly breathe. Okay, everyone, put your hands on your belly like this. Very good. Now take a deep breath in through your nose like this. And slowly breathe out through your mouth like this. It feels good, right? One more time, amigos. Hands on your belly. Slow, deep breath into your nose. And slowly breathe out through your mouth like this. Good job. Do you feel better? I sure do.
I feel better.
I feel better too. I like the breathing. See, this really is for grown-ups too, Sanjay. Even we're learning a lot this morning. Grover and Rosita, thank you for your excellent advice. And parents, you just heard about some of the resources out there. There are more tools and resources available for you at cnn.com/Sesame Street.
And we're going to be right back to talk about screen time and also school at home. And of course, we have more great questions from kids everywhere.
How does it feel when you get the coronavirus?
How can the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and the Tooth Fairy protect themselves from the coronavirus? Do they have to wear hazmat suits?
Hello again, everybody. Let's get to Erica, Dr. Sanjay, and Big Bird.
Thanks, Elmo, and welcome back to all our friends in the United States and our friends joining us from around the world. We want to take a moment to thank all of you. You have submitted such great questions, and we are learning so much together. Speaking of learning, children in 43 states will be learning from home for the rest of the school year. And having classes in your kitchen can be fun, but it is also challenging, as we're all learning.
That is a perfect description, I think, Erica. Sometimes staying focused as well is hard for grown-ups and also for kids, especially when there are so many fun distractions out there and so many screens at home as well.
And here to help us manage all of that is Dr. Sunday Riggins. She's an elementary school principal in Washington, D.C. Dr. Riggins, we are so appreciative of our teachers and our administrators. We know you're all working overtime these days, too. I bet you're also, though, learning a lot during this time. What have you learned?
Yes, thank you. We have learned a lot about distance learning and about the different learning styles of students. We've actually noticed that quite a few of our students who maybe aren't as talkative in class and maybe don't express themselves as much actually express themselves much more when they're responding during distance learning time. We also find that students have shown that they sometimes are frustrated and really miss us. We have a window of time that is reflective of the school day. But of course, now that kids are connected, we find that kids are calling us on the weekends or sort of after hours to work on assignments and sometimes just to talk and connect. So I think that this time is really teaching us a lot about the importance of staying connected and how much kids really miss being at school.
That's great, Sunday. I think Rosita is with us as well. I think she had a question.
My friend has a question.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm from Baltimore, and I'm the parent of a 5-year-old. And my question is around the lack of socialization with kids your own age. Virtual play dates just aren't the same as being on a playground and hashing out problems with your friends. Not seeing the same kind of conflict resolution or problem solving and teamwork. So what could we be doing to better build those skills right now? But should this drag on, are there going to be impacts long term, and what should we be thinking about as not just parents but as a community to support these skills in the future?
What do you think, Ms. Riggins?
Well, I would say that in the short term, we should really just focus on comforting kids, letting kids know that for now, virtual play dates will make the best of them. I think that making connections to neighbors, possibly extended family members that may have children around the same age in the household so that they can connect with them, I think that is important. Don't think that there's anything that we can do to replace those learning opportunities, but I do think providing more opportunities for kids to engage with a multitude of peers, those types of experiences where they may need to work through a challenge or figure out who will talk first, who will play a virtual game first. And I do think that those experiences can give some of those opportunities for kids to collaborate and problem solve. I also think that leveraging siblings in the household, siblings sometimes don't get along. So it's a rich opportunity to give them opportunities to cook together, read books together, possibly discuss movies and maybe main characters in books. So I think that there are a lot of opportunities that now that this is our new normal, we just need to figure out better ways to use our existing resources and leverage the relationships that kids already have.
And I have to say, Sunday, Erica knows my girls, and Erica, you'll be happy to know that my teenage girls are probably getting along better than they have in a long time. I think just forcing them to be together, they're finding that they actually do like each other quite a bit.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet. My boys are 10 and 13, and I have to say, they have their moments, as Sanjay knows, because we've talked about this, where they're brothers and they'll fight. But it is really nice to see them coming together and playing together and even helping one another with their schoolwork. That's really, certainly as their mom, it warms my heart a lot. Yeah. We have a question now from another mom. This is from Laura in Bayshore, New York.
How does Dr. Gupta feel about kids and screen time in our new normal? My children are on laptops for several hours each day for schoolwork, which includes live meetings with their teachers. Well, we send them outdoors quite a bit. They really want their devices back for indoor downtime to video chat with their friends. Where's the balance between keeping up social connection with friends and too many hours on the screen?
I feel like the two kids were sitting there smiling, sort of begging for me to say, it's okay to be on the screens as much as possible. Sunday, I want to hear from you as well, but there's a couple things that I've learned, and we've been doing some reporting on this, is that first of all, there were some significant guidelines on how much screen time was recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics, but I think it's safe to say that that has changed now. Kids are at home on their screens quite a bit for school. But I think one of the things that we've done, and again, looking at some of the advice from the pediatric community, is to make sure they're still taking breaks from the screen. It has to be sort of a different break structure than maybe in the classroom, in part just because you need to get away from the screen, but also in part because there can be headaches and things like that that come about from too much prolonged screen time. And also making sure when they're not in school, and this is the tough one, making sure to try and decrease the amount of time they're using the screens now for just their own entertainment, because they are getting so much screen time at school. So it's a tough balance for sure. And I told my wife, and my wife and I had this conversation, don't make hard and fast rules, because those are going to be very hard to abide by as this environment continues to change. But Ms. Riggins, what do you think?
I think that giving kids boundaries for sure is helpful in managing screen time. I also think that finding more extensions of activities outdoors, whether it could be helping with planting a garden or some yard work or some exploratory activities outside, maybe a scavenger hunt and some peers that maybe they'll connect with later. They went outside, they found some things, they come back together virtually to discuss. So I think that just setting the boundaries and making them sort of flexible and also connected to other things that they could be doing is a great way to balance sort of outside activity and making sure that they are spending time off screen and allowing them to get on screen with sort of like a common purpose or something that they've done as a shared experience with peers, especially since they're not going to have those Little League games and other activities to go to. What better way to have them collaborate than to try to recreate some shared experience than that they all can be having at home?
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I think making sure you can remind people that it's okay to be outside. Sometimes people wonder, can I go outside? Yes, you can go outside. You still just want to maintain the physical distance. That's the key, obviously. And I hear Big Bird is back now as well with another question from a friend.
My friend Elmo wants to ask another question. Go ahead, Elmo.
Oh, since Elmo is at home with his mommy and daddy, Elmo wants them to play with him, but they can't always play with Elmo. Why not?
Elmo, I understand. That happens a lot in my house, too, because I'm home with my kids now, but I have to work at the same time. So sometimes what we do in our house is we work together. So my kids are in school. They're a little older than you, Elmo, but they do their work, and I do my work at the same time. And it's not the same as playing, but that way, when we're done, we can all spend more time together playing.
That's a lot of what we're doing as well. You know, it's challenging, and I think it's so good to have these conversations, Erica, to remind people that it's not easy. We're working through all of this together. Really, really important for people to know that. Our friend Angelina, I think, as well, has a question. Angelina?
I'm supposed to start kindergarten in the big school in August. Do you think I'll be able to?
Ooh, that's a tough one, Dr. Riggins, isn't it?
Yes, that is very tough. I am not sure if you'll start kindergarten in August. It might be September or a different month of the year. But I can tell you that when you start kindergarten, it'll be awesome. You'll learn so many new things. You'll meet friends. Your teachers will be really, really nice, and they will help you learn and grow.
So many things to look forward to, and we will all get there eventually, that's for sure. Dr. Riggins, we really appreciate you spending some time with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
We've received so many questions from around the world, and we're going to answer even more of them coming up.
But first, Elmo's daddy has a message for all the parents out there.
Hi, everybody. Elmo's daddy, Louie, here. I know we're all trying to keep our little ones on a routine, but have you been feeling like the days get away from you? The things you plan for the morning are suddenly happening in the afternoon? That's okay. Our routines can and should be flexible. It's okay if we don't get to do something in the morning. If we get to do it in the afternoon, great, or even the next day. These are challenging times, and juggling childcare while working from home is difficult. Don't put pressure on yourself to get everything done. Children are resilient, just like you. The most important thing is that everyone stays healthy. You're doing amazing, and we are all here to help each other.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We know this can be a really hard time, even a scary time, and it's okay to be scared.
But when you're stuck inside, it might be hard to understand why coronavirus is so dangerous, especially if everyone in your family and your house is healthy.
There are some families, though, where people are getting very sick, and sometimes the people who got sick are no longer with us, and so their families are sad, and they're having a really tough time.
I even lost a friend. It's hard to believe, but it does make me sad.
Yeah, you know what? I know what it's like to lose a friend. Yeah, when I lost my friend, Mr. Hooper, I felt sad and confused, and I wanted to give him a picture I drew of him, but I couldn't because he died. But my adult friend, Maria, explained that Mr. Hooper wasn't going to come back. And I didn't know what to do, but luckily I had my friends and my family there to help me. And I still have my picture of Mr. Hooper right here in my nest. And that way I can think about him. It's important to remember that we're all in this together, to help and to care for each other and to lift each other up, you know?
You're right, Big Bird. It's so important to take care of each other and to remember people who are no longer with us. My dad's no longer here, but I talk about him a lot, and I have pictures of him too, and that helps me feel like he's still with me in my heart.
Yeah, it's so important to remember that. And let's bring back Dr. Rosemarie from Sesame Street Workshop, the nonprofit organization behind Sesame Street, and Dr. Wanjiko Jiragi as well from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Dr. Jiragi, parents may have the urge to want to protect their children, understandably, from some of these sad thoughts that we're talking about now and trying to help them deal with loss. What do you think is the right approach?
Yeah, so Dr. Gupta, and I'm sorry for your loss and for Big Bird's loss as well, if it was a little while ago. I think the important thing as a child psychiatrist that we try to tell parents is that you need to be honest. You need to support your children. Many children are grieving the loss of their regular day activities and then the loss of someone that they love. So letting them know in very clear and plain language about that loss and then letting them express their emotions, the big emotions that you guys have been talking about all morning long, and letting them know that they can always look at pictures of their loved one or tell stories about their loved one. And those kinds of things often help children and families.
Absolutely. Dr. Rosemarie, it can be really confusing, as we know, for kids to be confronted with all of these grown-up ideas and these feelings all at one time. So what do you say to the kids like Big Bird who are trying to work through them all right now?
Yeah, these could be overwhelming, and I think it's really important for us to remember to validate these feelings, because these feelings are real, and it is okay for parents to express their feelings, because once again, that helps validate the children's feelings. But keep in mind that children do need these strategies, and we're talking about what Big Bird did to help remember Mr. Hooper, and it's not like a light switch. Keep in mind that when children are dealing with feelings such as grief, it's sort of like when they eat an apple. So when a child eats an apple, they take a bite, they put it down, they come back to it, they take another bite. So they deal with these emotions in bite sizes, unlike we as adults who eat the apple all together. We're all consumed. So I just want children to understand that these big feelings and a range of feelings will come and go. But what's most important is how to help children and the grown-ups cope with these emotions, with these toolbox of strategies that we've been talking about throughout this program.
Yeah, definitely good reminders for the grown-ups as well. We want to share a moment now that was actually captured by one of our producers, Tawanda Scott. She heard her daughter, Tanjan, speaking with one of her friends, Ramona. They were talking about coronavirus, and as she overheard the conversation, she decided to film it. Tanjan agreed to let her mom share it with everyone today, so here it is.
Also, if you get it, it won't be very bad. Even if kids get it, and it more affects older people. But now it's not looking that way. Because not even old people are dying. Different other people. I mean, yeah, other.
They said it's hitting African Americans especially hard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why hard?
This pandemic has been especially difficult, as we know, for communities of color. Dr. Jiragi, as we're answering that question, there isn't just one answer because communities of color have been impacted in a number of ways. Can you help kids understand why?
Yes, Erica, that is a tough question. I think it's a hard discussion to have with your child to talk about structural racism, but I think what we can say to children is to be honest and say, as we now know from all of the information gathered, that families of color, people of color, are dying in greater numbers across the United States and then in some parts of the world as well. But it's again reassuring the child that even though this is a scary time and there are some scary things going on, that by following all of the recommendations that we've been talking about this morning, that is our best hope to protect ourselves and protect our families. But I think the key thing that the child psychiatry field and others want to recommend is that parents be honest with their children, but also you guys know your kids.
Right.
You want to make sure that they get the message that you want to tell them that's clear succinct.
And I have to say, I heard some sirens behind somebody's thing, and it's a reminder again that there are people out there, while we're being asked to stay at home, who are doing these important jobs. And Dr. Jackie, I think, as we know, many of the people who are on the front line, delivering food, making sure we have the things that we need, perhaps driving the ambulance that we just heard in the background, oftentimes are more likely to be people of color in this country. So oftentimes they are doing the jobs that put themselves more at risk, and as a result, more likely to get infected as well. Do you think that's part of the reason also?
Yeah, Dr. Gupta. So that was my house. We're sirens in Philly. So everyday life. But yeah, I mean, I think that we now know, the more that we're digging into this data and beginning to understand how community of colors have impacted. I mean, there are a lot of reasons that speak to the disparities that we're seeing. And again, I think that this is really a valid fear for many families of color. I myself am become increasingly concerned about my family and my friends' families and colleagues. But I think, again, what I try to reassure myself with is what you all were talking about this morning, and that there are people all around the world that are working 24/7. I mean, I've got colleagues at CHOP and at Penn, to name two institutions, that are doing all kinds of really brilliant work to try to find a way to help us get through this time and looking towards the future. So as we begin to understand this data, there are all kinds of webinars, both by the Child Psychiatry Academy, the American Psychiatry Association, that are beginning to talk about disparities. And in my academy, in our caucuses, the Black Caucus, the Latino Caucus, the IMG Caucus, and the Asian American Caucus, we really are thinking about what this means for people of color and for children and families of color. And we really hope to add to this conversation over the next coming weeks and months.
I'm glad we're talking about it. I think it's so important for kids and adults to hear this. Dr. Rosemary and Dr. Jackie, thanks so much for helping us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
I know that's a hard conversation, but I'm glad we talked about it.
Me too.
A lot of people are going through some difficult times right now, but next, we're going to learn some ways to help our friends and help our communities.
There's more coming up. We'll be right back.
During this time, it's so important for all of us to stay healthy.
Yeah, we should get lots of exercise. Abby Cadabby likes to have virtual dance parties where we all get up and move around.
I like that idea. We all need to eat healthy, too. And there's no one on Sesame Street that knows more about eating than Cookie Monster. So let's check in with him now for a healthy snack.
It's Snack Chat, snackety chat, doop-a-doodly-doo. The show where you snack more than you chat. It's Snack Chat. Hiya! Me, your host, Cookie Monster. Before we start, we just want to make sure that everyone's hands nice and clean. Yeah, look, me hands clean as whistle. Me no can whistle. Now, if you're like me, you've been home eating lots of snackies lately. Yeah, toaster pastries, gone. Fruit cup, delicious, but gonzville. Granola bars, they long gonski. But don't worry, cause me got little snacky idea for our little snacky chatty. Me going to show you how to make fruit smoothie. But don't worry, me not changing me name to Fruit Smoothie Monster. Me still Cookie Monster. Okay, first, be sure to have grown-up help you. Now, in blender, put any fruit you have. Me using strawberries. Add a little milk, add some ice, and blend it all together. And just like that, it's delicious strawberry smoothie. Nom, 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 nom. Cheers. Clink. Now that's a look. Brain freeze. Mika brain freeze. Mika brain freeze. Yeah, here a little Snack Chat snacking tip. Take it slow.
Something I thought we'd never see. Strawberry smoothie. Oh, my goodness. For more advice, let's talk to my good friend. She's joining us, Dr. Edith Borracho Sanchez, a pediatrician, that's a kid's doctor, from Columbia University, New York Presbyterian Hospital. Welcome, doctor. So you heard from Cookie Monster there. What are your tips for staying healthy during this time?
I 100% agree with Cookie Monster, and good morning to everyone. We really, really need to try to eat all our smoothies, to eat our veggies, to try to really get enough sleep and get enough exercise, so not fighting bedtime, and really, really having those dance parties. I strongly recommend those.
I like dance parties too.
You know, they say to dance like no one's looking. No one's looking.
That's right.
Now.
Perfect time for it.
We have another question, doctor, from a parent this time, Jeannie Eason from Atlanta, and she wants to know, when the time comes, what are some of the precautions we can make as we start to re-enter into this new normal?
That's an excellent question. And I would say, first of all, that this new normal is going to look, most likely, a little bit different than what we remember. Schools might look a little different, but your friends are still your friends and your teachers are still your teachers. So when the time comes, it's going to be very important that we follow the recommendations of the experts, of the really, really smart people that are working hard to make sure that we're all staying safe. Even if school looks a little different, if restaurants look a little different, we're all in this together, as you guys have been saying all morning.
So important. Dr. Edith, speaking of us all being in this together, I know you also have a message about this for our Spanish-speaking viewers at home.
That's right, Erica. Gracias. A todas las familias latinas que nos escuchan esta mañana les quiero decir que los pediatras estamos con ustedes. Sabemos que están pasando por momentos duros, pero estamos aquí para ayudarlos y para apoyarnos. Así que llámenos y de mi parte un fuerte abrazo.
Dr. Edith, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your messages today. Let's check in with Big Bird for our last question now. This one's coming all the way from the Philippines.
Let's go to a question from another one of our friends.
Hi, I'm Hannah. And I'm Shanna. We just wanted to ask, aside from staying home, how else can I help my community? And will it be safe to go out or to go to school even without the vaccine? Thank you. Bye.
These are the sweetest videos and questions.
They really are.
Yes, so, we are going to, as we started off the show talking about, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may be a longer tunnel, and it can be a tough tunnel, I know that. The vaccine is certainly going to help. The vaccine is going to be a medicine that we can take that can hopefully prevent us from getting this infection. But before that, if we start making sure that it's safe for people to go outside, maybe even making sure there's medicines if people need medicines. Most people don't, Erica. I think that's always worth reminding people as well. As scary as this virus is, and I know it's scary for a lot of people out there, most people actually don't get that sick. Most people have very few, if any, what are called symptoms or any signs of getting sick. So remember that as well. But we've said it all day. We'll say it, I think, for a long time. We're all in this together, Erica. How you behave is affecting me, and how I behave is affecting you, and we should rise up to that.
Absolutely. And you are helping all of us every day, Sanjay, to learn about it and also to remember that. So thank you. A lot of people have been asking, how can I help? And our pals at Sesame Street have some great ideas on how you can help people in different ways. Take a look.
Woohoo! Thank you! You're so magical! I've been cheering like that for all our healthcare workers every night at 7 p.m. Woohoo! Yay! You're amazing! My mommy, abuela, and I have been cooking for our neighbors who are sick or need food, and I'm having a wonderful time learning how to cook. Oh, the cookies are ready. I gotta go. Elmo's been drawing pictures for the police officers, firefighters, and all the other workers to show how much they mean to us. Elmo's gonna hang his picture in the window for them to see.
Our town hall is coming to a close, and we'd like to thank all of our experts for their thoughtful advice around COVID-19.
And everyone that sent in their questions.
And thank you to our friends from Sesame Street for joining us, especially you, Big Bird, for moderating with us.
Oh, my first town hall. Thank you. I learned a lot.
I did too. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.